Welcome back. So this happened, and good night, everybody. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to talk about this. All I can think, looking at what happened here, is maybe Toronto gets too much criticism. Maybe Tampa Bay was the second best team in the East. Uh, I just this is gobsmackingly insane what we're witnessing here. The Florida Panthers on a bit of a mission, so let's just jump into this and we'll discuss as we go through. Bobrovsky versus Anderson, and Sergei Bobrovsky has a talent now that he's showing for getting better as the playoffs go along. Jankowski was in the net for Carolina. Kokaniemi was out. I don't think that had a major difference tonight at all. Anderson came into this one 2-0 after a loss in the 2025 playoffs. And, yep. So good Panthers forecheck shows up early, and they went to work. They just, their skates, the blades should be attached to work boots with the way Florida plays. And 117 in, those work boots start the stomping. Forsling, he scores from Tkachuk and Bennett, and it's a slot shot that deflects in after the forecheck caused a turnover by Carolina. So Carolina's just overwhelmed by that Florida forecheck, as most teams are. And that was the first shot on net as well. The Canes look to respond, and net feed Verhaeghe gets blocked. Slavin has a one-timer that's held. Luostarinen misses one wide on a net drive. Shots are 3-2 Canes at 6 minutes, although the shot totals would drop a bit after I wrote that. The fans call when the referee does not. Orlov has a slapper that's held as the Canes get some pressure, and this is where the shot totals are dropping. Panthers press at 9.5 minutes, and at 11 minutes and 40 seconds, Tkachuk, he tips one in close. Verhaeghe was going for the jam play, and it ends up going over to Tkachuk, who buries it. So Verhaeghe and Mikkola had the assists, and it's 2-0 for Florida, which really quieted down a Carolina crowd that can be very, very loud. This is a team that did not utilize that home ice advantage to its benefit, because being down 2-0 early takes them out of it. Panthers press for another, and the thing is too, this is another turnover goal. So it is deflating for a crowd to see goals against. It's more deflating, I think, when it's a turnover by your team that leads to a goal for the other. So things get pushed in a hole by Anderson. Panthers are not giving Carolina a path to the net. It's just the Canes are the Balrog, and Gandalf is the Florida Panthers. You shall not pass. Yeah, that was awkward. These things happen. Anyways, power play for Florida. There's a shorthanded rush by Stahl. Another clear. Good shorthanded forechecking. Martinook has a shorthanded rush chance to save. Really good penalty kill until at 15:50. Bennett puts one through Anderson from the left circle late in the power play. Verhaeghe and Rodriguez with the assists. So really good penalty kill by Carolina. However, towards the end of it, Florida scores. The same thing we saw against Toronto a couple of times in that series, and it's 3-0 Carolina. It's 3-0 Florida against Carolina in Carolina. It's 3-0. It doesn't matter. Anyways, all right. So the crowd was really taken out of it on that goal, and the crowd was a lot quieter. Totally understand why. No complaints, no criticism. Just saying, yeah, that will make a crowd get very, very quiet. Hey, I sit in Vancouver crowds that even after a goal, sometimes they're quiet. There's a delay on a Canes icing call that gets them a long break, and I'm just gonna say this: this whole thing of guys jump on the bench and then I was I out on the ice for? Do you want me back on the? Wait, so who comes? Is he coming off? And there's a guy in the ice going, me, I'm off. I'm going. The NHL needs to sit down in the off season with the officials, or at the very least the guy who's in charge of the officials, and say, look, this is making a joke out of the whole idea that on an icing you can't change players, because this had to be at least 45 seconds of guys, me, them, who, me, serious, me. It was like Night at the Roxbury. So yeah, there's an old one. So 1:27 left. There's too many Panthers on the ice. The fans called it, and they had to call it. They had to. This is one of those things that teams should do. When there's a bunch of guys on the ice for the other team, throw the puck over in front of their bench. It'll touch one of them. Maybe you end up getting that too many men on the ice call. So that's the Canes power play. Reinhart not out there for the penalty kill. He got hurt during the first period. No effect on the game. None. I am absolutely shocked. No effect on the game whatsoever. And he's a great penalty killer. So there's an early clear. The Panthers then block the net pretty well until the horn. It's 3-0 Florida after one. Second period. No Reinhardt. It was a collision where it looked like he hurt his knee. I think he collided with Aho. So the Panthers do finish the kill. The Canes then score on a failed clear, but it's challenged for offside. And yep, no goal. And that was a turning point as well. Carolina felt like, all right, maybe they have a chance. But that chance is quickly snuffed out because that goal was offside. Not the first time we've seen that in these playoffs involving, like, Minnesota's the one that comes to mind right away, but other offside goals as well. The Canes then look to get it back. Walker gets shaken up on a hit from Greer. He exits. He would come back into the game, though. Bennett to Verhaeghe, near miss. The Canes had the only shot on net 3.5 minutes in. So not a lot getting to the net at this point, and it would kind of stay that way for Carolina. Panthers forecheck leads to some pressure. Schmidt fires one wide on a rush. Marchand has a 2-on-1 chance that saved. Lusterinen has a shot that's held. We get some pushing. Not a lot of that tonight. Not a lot of the physical, fighty kind of stuff going on. Panthers press at 8 minutes. A net feed to Gadjevich gets picked off. Halfway through the game, Carolina's got 5 shots. Like 5. And you could see the Carolina fans, who are used to seeing about 80 shot attempts by this point in the game by Carolina, getting frustrated. And as frustrated as I understand fans being with Carolina for this, it is remarkable how well Florida's played on the road in this series. So Greer has a shot that's kicked aside. There's a brief Panthers press. Aho has a chance that's saved. The next chance he has is blocked. Canes press with 7.5 minutes left. The shots with 5.5 minutes left are 7-4 for Florida. Svechnikov has a rush chance. That's blockered aside. Carolina overpassing. As the fans are chanting, shoot the puck. The Canes start overpassing again. So proving the fans' point. But what's happened now is it feels like Carolina's looking for the perfect play. They're kind of psyched out. And it's just making everything worse. So at this point, it's just snowballing, which feels similar to what Florida did to Toronto. And then in 1921, after all the overpassing, Florida scores again. It's Bennett bearing a rebound from the doorstep. Verhaeghe and Ekblad with the assists. And the Bluebirds close this out. So Verhaeghe with 3 assists in the first 2 periods. I have talked about how well he's been playing in these playoffs, even though the puck wasn't going his way. Now he's starting to get the points to back that up. So yeah, 4-0 Florida after 2. And there was only one question remaining entering the third. And Kochetkov was in net for Carolina. He wasn't busy in the third. I don't think there's enough here for Florida, or for Carolina, I should say, to potentially go to Kochetkov in Game 3. They might. Like, if you're Rod Brindamore, you might make that change, but I don't know that it's going to make a difference. Nosek has a rush chance that's caught and held. We get a power play drawn by Carolina. Early clear, and then another. Aho has a slot shot that deflects out. The power play's killed off. 1 shot on net for Carolina there. Jarvis exits after a heavy hit that he took. And this is how Florida plays. It's heavy hockey, a lot of hits. And I know people get mad because they're like, oh, they're out there trying to injure guys. The reason that teams throw as many hits as they do in the playoffs is to wear down the opposition. So yes, every team in the playoffs should be out there not trying to injure players necessarily, but trying to bang them up. Yep, absolutely, and make sure they're fully tenderized for the rest of the series. That's just kind of how that works. Things get scrummy behind the Panthers net. The shots are 3-2 Carolina at 6.5 minutes. Blake has a backhand that's saved. The rebound is cleared. Roslovic has a rush chance that's saved. Things get punchy as a penalty's called. The Canes come out of that with a power play. Florida wasn't happy. They wanted to even things up at 4-on-4, and they're good at that. They're good at irritating so that the team takes a retaliatory penalty. That did not happen in this case. There's an early clear and then another short-handed Marchand chance is saved, and then Lundell to Marchand, still during the penalty kill. They have a chance at the net, and there's a near miss there for Florida. So they kill that off. Carolina probably glad it was only 2 minutes. The Canes press with 7.5 minutes left. They're kept to the outside. There's a near miss for Marchand, but it's a near miss because Burns breaks up the play using a broken stick. So since he uses a broken stick, he goes to the penalty box. So Tkachuk has a shot that's kicked aside, and at 13:49, Barkov tips in a point shot. Ekblad and Rodriguez with the assists. 5-0 Florida. 5. So somewhere there's Toronto Maple Leafs players watching this and going, see, at least we got him to 7 games. I mean, it's not just us. It's happening to somebody else too. So the Canes look to respond as the fans are filing out, and for those that stayed to the end, hey, full credit to you guys. You are real hockey fans, sticking around till the end of this mess. And the shot attempts were even going into the final minute of this. So there's a reason I don't put shot attempts on the board. I don't think it necessarily makes a big difference. Not that shots have made a big difference in these playoffs either. Tonight, the shots in this 5-0 win for Florida. Florida up 2-0. The extermination magnets on the board. The Dalek magnet, meaning 5 goals or more in a shutout. That's an extermination. Wow. Shots on that 5-3. Florida in the first. 11-4. Florida in the second. Through the first 40 minutes, Carolina had 7 shots. In the third, the shots are 10-4 Carolina. Final shots 20-17 for Florida. Wasn't a boring game though, was it? The power plays, Florida scores on both of their power plays. So that Carolina penalty kill, which was fantastic coming into this series, Florida really hasn't had a problem with it. Carolina 0 for 3 on their power plays. The hits 48-38 for Florida. Bobrovsky saves all 17 shots. It is his 3rd shutout of these playoffs, setting a team record, and his 6th shutout in his career. Anderson saves 12 out of 16. Kochetkov saves 3 out of 4 in relief. So there you go. Ugly game, but it's done. And now we go to Florida for 2. Will we be back in Carolina for Game 5? They've now lost 14 conference finals games in a row. They need to win at least one. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.